Hello and welcome to Headliners. It's your first look at Wednesday's top news stories with 3 comedians. So let's have a quick look at what Josh and Carey will have to deal with on Wednesday's front pages. We've got the Daily Mail, which is running with Church in crisis as well be forced to quit. The Eye has got Brown's warning to Starmer. Benefit cap is trapping families in poverty. And the Daily Telegraph writer in Kafkaesque hate crime enquiry. The Daily Express is leading with my profound sense of shame at church failings. That's the Welby story again. And the Metro also with the Welby story. Welby quits in shame. And the Daily Star goes a bit rogue. They've got proof that the Loch Ness Monster actually exists. So we're going to kick this one off. Josh, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? You just come from a gig?
I've just been doing a gig, yeah.
Being funny?
I was hilarious.
That's it. People don't know that about you. They just think you're this, intellectual who writes books and all of that. But actually, you're also a comedian.
There we go.
There it is.
They should have come to
a
see
man
the
of
The secret's out.
I know.
Yes. People know now. They'll expect more from you.
I was a comedian first before I got dragged into this stuff.
Yeah, but you've always been, clever. You've been one of those clever blokes. Come on.
Now, look, let's have a look at the front cover of the Telegraph.
Yes, so it's all the papers are focusing on Welby, but this is a huge story, ramifications for actually our lives. So Alison Pearson, friend of the channel, very fine writer, and I agree with most things that she says and her opinions. Basically, woke up Remembrance Sunday, and the police were there, and they said, "Oh, we've come here because you wrote a tweet." And then she was like, "Well, what tweet?" And they were like, "Oh no, we can't tell you." and then
so she woke up in East Berlin.
Yes,
apparently.
essentially.
I mean, this is the headline talks about how it's a Kafkaesque hate crime inquiry, and it absolutely is. If people have read the trial, they will know it's about a character who is on trial for something he hasn't. They don't tell him.
Well, she said, "Who accused me?" She said, "No, they're not accused. They're the victim."
But we can't tell you what you're accused of.
Yeah,
and even that phrase, the victim. Yeah. It's completely bypassing due process.
Yeah.
This is terrifying stuff.
It's scary because she's got a big profile, right?
Yeah.
If this can happen to her, what's it like for normal people? Not you, but me.
Well, we always thought that we might be protected to a degree, right?
To a degree, and
it's like when they go after people who write jokes online that cause offence. They never go for professional comedians who do the same sort of jokes, sometimes the exact same jokes.
Yeah.
And you feel like there's a sheen of protection. But actually, Carey,
I'm still getting away with it.
You are very much getting away with it.
Absolutely. But I think they've either got to stop doing this or be consistent. If you're going to go after every nasty tweet, then Owen Jones should have been arrested over and over again.
Well, how about we just don't do it at all?
I'll approve of it a little bit.
Yeah, but that's a personal gripe. Don't you think?
No, there's plenty to agree with me.
I think Alison Pearson would gladly go to jail if Owen Jones went to jail.
I think
I think that would be a sacrifice that she'd be willing to be paid.
These are all about the non-hate, or the non-crime hate incidents, which no one's really sure what any of that means anyway, and often it's just being gender critical, etc.
Well, they've said racist in this case.
Well, in this case, they're actually saying it's not a non-crime hate incident.
But they're not telling her what it is.
No, but what we know is it's not one of those incidents.
I don't think
that leaves a lot to guess about.
But we're not allowed to do this. I mean, my understanding is the police cannot.
I thought they had to tell you.
They have to tell you, surely. But this kind of thing's happening more often. As they say, not a non-crime. I mean, the fact that we even have non-crime hate incidents is incredible to begin with.
It started happening a lot in America, with I think it was Title IX or something, was it? In universities, where you could be accused of something, you didn't have any right to find out who accused you, what you're accused of, or anything. And then
lots of lawsuits.
Loads of lawsuits happening now, to overturn them.
So what do we do about this, Josh? I mean, the thing is, no government has ever dealt with this. OK, so we've had the Conservative governments. It all happened.
Well, it came under there. So Suella Braverman came in and said, no, stop this.
Yeah.
And they didn't listen. The police forces just kind of ignored her. They're doing more of these charges than ever before.
Right.
And now you've got a Labour government. It's obviously, it seems like it's getting worse, or it will certainly potentially get worse.
If you guess your crime right, do they have to tell you?
Maybe it's like a
quiz.
You
like that game.
Yeah. Maybe they're just having a bit of fun.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think Kemi Badenoch could deal with this? I mean, but the real problem with all this is the College of Policing, which is now an activist body, effectively, that invented non-crime hate incidents. There was no mandate from above. The government didn't tell them to do it. The government repeatedly told them to get rid of them. 2 successive Home Secretaries said, you can't do this. A High Court ruled it wasn't lawful.
Yep.
And the police are still doing it. They don't care. They're the Gestapo.
As far as what Badenoch would do, I think she'll laugh this out of process as soon as she gets in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But when you also, it's an easy win for them. You see, they've got their little. They can go on Twitter and go, "Oh, I don't like that," and we're going to sort that out. Whereas there are some stories we've got coming up about they're ineffectual dealing with actual crime,
I just can't
physical crime.
I can't see the public, though, supporting the idea of mysterious accusations.
No, but some people do. That's the crazy thing. Some people go, well, she must deserve it. Until, of course, it happens to them.
Whilst it's working for them, yeah, exactly.
Well, if Kemi is watching, I'm going to give us a bit of advice. Let's scrap the College of Policing. Just get rid of it. It's not fit for purpose. Let's move on to the front cover of the Mirror. Kerry, what are they running with?
What's the Mirror got? Well, this is the big story now, is, of course, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who has resigned. He hasn't been, forced out exactly, but...
Because he's a good man. He's a good man.
Well, there are people saying that. There are people saying he's done the honourable thing, but there's nothing very honourable about this whole story, is there? I mean, he knew about these accusations back in 2013. It's not like you can really say those were different times. It's just not far enough back.
He's put his hands up and he said, I should have insisted on a more rigorous investigation at the time. Lots of people saying he must have known back in the 80s because he worked very closely with this guy, this John Smythe, sex abuser.
Sent him Christmas cards.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's not, I don't think it's fair to say he must have known. I don't think that's right.
Well, no, but I would just like to say that I have never sent a Christmas card to a paedophile.
Knowingly?
Well, I just have never sent a Christmas card, so...
Well, then that's the way to avoid it. Do you think, though, I mean, he has held his hand up, but you know, there wasn't... Surely at this point...
But what was he holding in his other hand?
A bag of Snickers. I don't know. Listen, but don't you think that he has no choice at this point?
Yes,
because he's admitted it.
Yes, he has no choice, of course. But this, he didn't admit it. A report came out that found that they had basically, messed up with him. What does it say here? Mishandled abuse allegations. So this is a report that came out. If this report hadn't come out, I don't think he'd be putting his hands up then. And then all these people sort of tweeting, he's a really good guy, and I've worked with him and he's honest and integral and all of this stuff. Well, you don't mess up really worse than mishandling a paedophile case.
Well, especially when you're supposed to be guiding the country on spirituality and morality.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those are your key
and be such a hypocrite about all these other issues. It's
we do have to distance him from the crimes insofar as he didn't commit those crimes. I
think it is a crime if you know about a crime.
No, but I don't think he knew about the crime.
We don't know.
He didn't know about the crime. What he didn't do is he didn't vigorously enough insist that the prosecution and investigation or the investigation happened. That's the distinction.
Well, I don't know if there's much of a distinction there. I mean, we could say that so we don't get sued, but at the same time, you're in charge and there's some dodgy stuff going on and you're not dealing with it.
Yeah, he should clearly have had this investigated. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, he must have known something. He knew there were accusations, right?
He knew there were... Well, that's what he says, yeah. He said it, yeah.
Well, that's enough to go to the police with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you would have thought so.
Personally, I would think so.
Anyway, so he's going to potentially lose his seat in the House of Lords and
they're going to get a replacement.
Well, this is what we're going to cover next story.
We'll cover that later.
No, we'll do it right now.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah, let's go to the Mail.
So the Daily Mail, who's got this?
Me. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about who's going to replace him.
So slick. Unbelievable.
Church in crisis as well be forced to quit. There's a lot of... the people nominated all have something in common, apart from being Christian.
Or male?
That's a big one, though.
Yeah, so let me see if you can guess what the sort of common factor is, OK? You've got Reverend Graham Usher. He focuses on climate action. You've got Dr. Julie Francis...
is it Julie, not Gooley?
Gooley, anyway, Gooley.
No, I thought it was Gooley.
It turns out that's a woman. She focuses on immigration and diversity and multiculturalism. Then you've got Martin Snow. He is all about building relationships with different religious communities. You've got Michael Beasley. He's all about health-related stuff. So basically, there's a common umbrella there, and it ain't Christianity.
Are any of them interested in Jesus and his teachings? I think that should probably...
You are so old-fashioned.
Actually, Jesus is number 6.
Jesus is there.
Jesus up there.
So they're all basically woke activists. But, Welby was a bit of a woke activist himself.
Yes, he was. He did lean that way, yeah.
Do you think that the, leading religious figures should be getting involved in politics?
Well, OK, I do think religion has to modernise and stick to the times, and obviously things change. So, yeah, to an extent, but not necessarily to the extent that it is going on. I think they have an area that they cover. But this is all happening, deciding, I guess we're talking a lot about what their role is in the country generally, because this is happening whilst the Commons have been discussing the bill for removing bishops from the Lords.
Well, we should have separation,
they've been overwhelmingly voted down on.
Well, we should have separation of church and state.
Yes,
why do you have bishops sitting in the House of Lords just because they're bishops?
Well, it's along with the whole hereditary peers thing anyway, of whether they should be removed.
And how does it work? Do they sort of... is it like black smoke, white smoke?
I like all that because that's quite dramatic. The Catholics know how to do drama.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
I think there should be like a leadership debate of bishops now, where an audience get to ask some questions like, how would you react if you found out someone was committing paedophilia? Would you mention it to the police or send them to another country? That kind of question.
Or just have them in an arena like gladiators.
That'd be an interesting
That'd be great.
idea.
Stripped to the waist.
And they've got the pointy hats. They could charge at each other.
Can we arrange this on GB News as a special,
I think we would.
special evening?
Do you know what? I would love that. I would definitely watch that show. But it's interesting that they're going for that kind of super... I mean, because recently the Church of England has been talking about let's have reparations, let's spend millions and millions of pounds. I mean, these are woke causes. They're nothing to do with...
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just get back to some core morality.
Yeah, absolutely. OK, well, let's move on to the Times. Unless there's anything else on the front of the Mail you wanted to cover.
Well, there is a little thing about the real reason BBC parted with Gary Lineker.
What is that?
It's because he's just
insufferable.
He's such a total one.
So we don't know is the real
Well,
reason.
I think that they were probably not happy with some of his political pronouncements.
Okay.
Because about things he knows really very little about.
Another one who can't keep to his lane, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Talk about football.
Yeah.
Whereas we only talk about things that we are experts in.
Exactly. I don't go and talk to you about football, do I, Gary Lineker and crisps?
No, we talk about the Church of England, and we are rigorously theologically trained before we do this show.
Okay, you've got a point there.
What about the Times? The Times, have they got anything different on the Times? They're going with the Welby story as well, of course. But they're also saying Britain must eat less meat.
Yes.
Hit Starmer climate change.
Yeah, it's not much of a story. It's just someone at the COP decided that if we eat less meat, it will help stop climate change, and Starmer has quite correctly said no.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, it feels like
what it comes down to.
But it does feel like they're trying to conflate that story. Like, there's a lot of these sort of conspiracy. If Labour gets in, they're going to stop us eating meat and whatever. Now,
is that a conspiracy?
Yeah, no, there's genuine people there. We're going to eat cockroaches and all of this stuff.
Heard.
Yeah, but the point is, he has said, or he has committed to cutting down 81% or something by 2035.
Right.
Our output, our pollution, but. This is people at that conference saying, well, the only way to do that is to not travel and to eat less meat. And he's gone, no. We could do it without altering...
We could stay still and eat more meat.
Our lives anyway. We just have to pay lots of money for it.
What's all this about, Kerry? The Sun, it's all kicking off, which is a very dramatic headline.
I think this is just more on Lineker, isn't it?
Is it?
No, it's his replacement.
It's a replacement, yes.
Who's his replacement?
We've got a replacement of bishops going on. We've got a replacement
mix it up.
of football pundits.
Maybe Lineker should be Archbishop of Canterbury.
That would be very...
Swap them round would be very interesting. It's a genius idea.
Well, it's all about, is there going to be a female TV pundit?
Is that the female one on the left?
Well, you can't tell nowadays, can you?
Oh, no. Well, interesting. I don't know anything about football or care. But, you know... Good
I'd prefer it to be a female.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why?
Just for fitness.
What do you mean by that?
I just don't...
I hope you're not objectifying women on this programme.
I'm massively objectifying.
Reverse sexism. Which type of sexism are you doing?
I don't know, but I like it.
I don't. I abhor all forms of sexism. Speaking of sexism, the front cover of The Star has a picture of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Apparently, giant plesiosaurus, like the Loch Ness Monster, but not like the Loch Ness Monster, will be found swimming in our uncharted oceans in the next few years. So basically they're saying there are dinosaur bones in the sea, which there are.
Yeah, of course there are.
I mean, obviously there are. It'd be ridiculous if they went, no, let's all die on land.
I don't think we're going to find them, though, because what's happening is the water keeps on going up.
Yeah.
And it's getting further away from us.
So we're never going to dig that. Yeah. It's hard to dig through water, isn't it?
So why are the boffins in The Star saying they've got proof of the Loch Ness Monster?
They're saying there will be... I think there's only a tiny bit of the story, but I think they're saying that there will be more bones found in the sea, which obviously there will be, and then they're suggesting that therefore we're going to find... Welby's coming up close, right? Therefore we're going to find Nessie, when this has nothing to do with Nessie. It's one of these stretches from something which is obviously true...
But this is not good enough. It says on the headline, Nessie, the proof.
Yes.
I want to see the proof. Yeah. Where is your proof of the Loch Ness Monster?
And I like that this is the story that's got you most motivated.
It's annoying.
Rather than everything else.
Let's have a leadership.
I'm sorry. Journalistically, you can't say we've got the proof and then not provide it.
I love how you're holding the Daily Star to account here. This is exactly the kind of democratic show that.
And I know that Josh really wants to get to this story.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
These are the very best-looking people in the whole world.
We will get to that later. Hey, don't you worry. That is going to be a big feature coming up.
No, it's just not true.
We'll find out, won't we? Well, please come.